Hello YouTube, Ronin Kaze. Here we go. So if you've been on the channel, you've seen me proselytize for Linux, how it's good. And now we're going to look at Office applications. We're going to go with word processors to start. So I have, for this whole video, Google Workspace is going to be on top left, Microsoft Office on the top right, and LibreOffice down the middle. Now, there's something completely different. The top two are kind of a whole different way. If you're a geezer like me, it's a different way to use it. I use all three of these. I don't use LibreOffice. I still use the other two. If you could like, subscribe, share, unsubscribe, resubscribe. So what I'm going to show you is the word processing in each one. And in general, spoiler alert, Google Workspace, whatever it's called, is okay, but it's very rudimentary, right? Microsoft Office is probably the best of the three. And then the non-steal my information LibreOffice. So you really got to go back in time if you're going to use LibreOffice to a whole different paradigm. And we'll talk about that near the end. But so now I'm just formatting each one. I'm getting columns. It was relatively easy to do in each one. And you can see that the interface is kind of dated. Google Workspace, if you're a kid and you did Google Workspace for school, it's going to be natural to you. But Microsoft product's going to be a little more slick, more kind of things in a web-based kind of situation. Now I'm going to add a picture to the text. And I'm going to pick a spot in the document, say import image, and then I'm going to drag it. And so you can see I'm not sure how to do it. I'm used to doing it with a desktop app. So I'm going to close this out and I'm just going to try to drag it in there. Well, I put it in there. Now it's inverse. This has happened the whole time with Google. This is like number one. I don't got time to figure it out. People that love Google, it's not a religion. It just doesn't work right out of the box. Don't want it. And maybe it's because I'm in dark mode. But the other two handle it just fine. Microsoft handles it, and then LibreOffice. Same thing, I'm going to insert an image. I probably could have dragged it. I didn't have the guts to do it. This type of information here is something Microsoft did that was fantastic, where you could embed pictures, spreadsheets, and then later they were live in presentations, so it just was a game changer. In all three, you're going to be able to get the job done. And if you stick with whatever one you pick, and that's yours, you're going to figure out how to do it. You're going to be able to do everything that you need to do. If you're also trying to format it like desktop publish, or if you're writing a book, you're going to send it to the publisher, hopefully. You're not going to try to self-publish. Then I probably would use a dedicated product, a desktop product. Right, so one of the paradigms we're thinking about, your files are in the cloud for Google and Microsoft, and your files are on your desktop. The files can be on your desktop with the other two, but they're trying to push you to the cloud and see everything in cloud. Benefit is you have access to it anywhere. Detriment is they have access to it anywhere. So if the information is critical or you're worried about other people sniffing it or whatever, then you're going to want to keep it on your system. And this got me thinking, I like the interface of the Google and the Microsoft products. I just don't like what they're doing with my data. So kind of the next thing after this video I was thinking about, I want a modern way to look at my office without being stuck into like the paradigm we're in. Now we're going to do presentation. These are things that you're going to always have to do for work. Hey, can you throw together a quick presentation? You may have to write a report, and now you may be doing a presentation. And I'm going to show you the format I use, right? I've told you. You can see that Google and Microsoft immediately want to get you into here, look at this template or this template. You just want to put it in there. And I'm going to show you the drag and drop hopefully now. I'm going to try to drag that picture in the lower left. And I got the recording down in the lower right. I just figured out I'd put up all the space. And in this case, LibreOffice really shined. Microsoft wasn't bad either. But you can see the default blank presentation had the thing in the middle of the, you don't really want it in the middle, you want it near the top. LibreOffice kind of had that in their blank already. These are small, minor things. You're just going to drag your picture in there. Remember, you have your first, and I don't like how the picture fits in there, right? I have this big problem with Google the whole time. I'm going to jerk around with this quite a bit. You'll see on the next portion of the presentation I'm making. Just drag it into, well, I'm making a new template. I could have right-clicked, going to put the title in there. This is for the second slide. All relatively easy. You know, I'm figuring out I'm either right-clicking or trying to insert a new slide. Whoa. What was that, YouTube? That was the text I used for the writing. That went in there pretty okay, but then you see it wants the template. It's suggesting templates all the time. And it's easy. So am I better at the Microsoft because I'm used to it? I don't know. This isn't a fair thing, but that was relatively easy to do. But you can look at LibreOffice. Sorry, YouTube, hitting the camera. You can look at LibreOffice. It's ready to go right there. It's kind of the right proportions how it should be. I'd prefer that. I just kind of nervous about the clunky interface, right? Look at all that stuff there. And so I told you this when you're doing a presentation. If I was giving you this presentation, I'd say, why should you listen to me? So the first slide I'm going to be after the introduction is, who am I? I'm Ronin Kaze. I was in the Coast Guard for 13 years, was in private sector for like 20 years at 2 different jobs, ended up being a vice president one, was always in sales or sales adjacent, always did presentations. And really what happened in presentations is I watched failure after failure where someone reads their presentation to you. We can read faster than you can talk, Jeff. So now I'm going to try to put the icons, and you can see that I'm just having a problem with this Google one. This is the problem with too much thinking for you, right? It doesn't know what you're thinking. Quick joke. German Coast Guard. There's 2 guys on the radio. As you know, Germany's landlocked, or they have a port way in the north or something, but it's not a seagoing nation you would think about, although they built a couple of big battleships, you too. And so the senior Coast Guard guy goes out to get some coffee, and the trainee's on the radio and goes, German Coast Guard, German Coast Guard. Someone calls in. We're sinking, we're sinking. And the new guy looks around and goes, vessel in distress, what are you sinking? So that's kicking my butt right there. I'll eventually get it, but it shouldn't be like that. And that's too much AI for you. So you're just slapping something together. It might be all right. It might be okay for school, but for work, it's just aggravating. And then you immediately go, like when you do watch what Microsoft does. And look how easy it is with LibreOffice, right? It just does it easy. And then I'm worried about this Microsoft Office one that's a little bit bigger. I'm trying to get rid of that thing. I can't. Part of the problem is that I was putting those into a frame. I should have got rid of the frame. You should really only have one frame, and then you're just going to put images in. And it plunks right perfect, right? So LibreOffice is a plus there, right? Functionally, it's pretty dang good. You see what the problem with Microsoft is? It's always offering you, I don't want your templates. You're not making it easier. Again, I got to waste time with your dumb templates, and it wants to redo everything for me. So you can see in that case, newer's not better. The AI, the intelligence features aren't doing me any good. YouTube, not doing me any good. That's Roxy. Roxy, you don't like doing presentations? All right, and the last, when you're doing presentation, you only get to do 3 content slides. The last slide, I think I'm going to stop the video and turn it on. And now I didn't want to have you see me schlep for images, free images. And this is them running this is Google running it. This is Microsoft running it. And now you'll see LibreOffice running it in the slideshow mode. I would give that to LibreOffice. But we're going to talk about, it's really what we're going to get onto spreadsheets. And this is where you see the first big difference. You see I'm trying to drag and drop the file in there. I drag and drop in LibreOffice, it just works. That's bonus. Here's the paradigm I have to do with Google and Microsoft. Since they're web cloud-based, at this point, I got to load it into the cloud. I got to start interfacing with their whole mechanism where I'm putting my content up into the cloud and then I can pull it back down and use it from there. Nothing wrong with that. In some use cases, if I was working, I would probably, what I'm thinking right now, I'd use Microsoft Office if I was working, and then I could have my files available. Sometimes your work won't let you use those files, and they won't let you use a thumb drive, so you're SOL, but maybe you're just going to use that for like, how do I want it to look? And here I'm trying to load it up to a cloud, and this gets really frustrating that I got to turn it into full screen mode, and Google eventually does it, and then Microsoft, it's going to take me a few tries. It's a different paradigm. This got me to thinking, I'm in Linux now. Why do I keep this paradigm? So there's a couple of other not included that are free, that are available on Linux. One's like newer, everything's all in one tab, which I prefer, and you tab through your different documents, and then one's like more traditional. And then I said to AI, I said, can I do all this in terminal? And said yes. So that's what I'm going to probably do and show you how to do that. Because if you care about your privacy and your data, then, do I need some of these things that I'm looking on the screen? You can see all those icons. Those are a bunch of commands I don't normally use. Right? So if you really think about a spreadsheet, you just want to get the numbers. You want to sort everything. Listen, if you're doing whoop-de-doo stuff, yes, you need Excel. That's just it. If you're doing whoop-de-doo stuff. The Division 2, some great guys have all the data. There's a Division 2 worksheet that has everything about the game and the gear and what they give. That's fantastic, and that's a Google worksheet doc, and I love it. That thing's great. Google worksheet's fantastic for that kind of stuff. You might use 3 or 4 of these different things, but now we're talking about why would I use, in a perfect world, I'd use the Microsoft Office, but it's not, I don't have my data. So then we're looking at LibreOffice, but then why limit myself to LibreOffice if I can't export the data and they're not going to let me move it in, and if I'm just keeping it for myself, I don't need all the extra. Look at, there's 2 rows of icons that I'm never going to use. If I want to just do a quick spreadsheet for what am I spending on the groceries or making a list. Those are going to all be in text files. I can send them to my phone. So I told you not to be scared of the terminal. Because then I said, why don't I have a DOS box and then run the programs I like? There's a thing called Tornado Notes and Lucid 3D, which is a spreadsheet, and there's a bunch of other DOS programs that I really like. And then I said, if I'm going to do a text-based one, I just do it in the terminal. So there's where I'm heading towards. So you're going to be able to do all the spreadsheets, and we were just sorting the spreadsheets. And what was nice about Libra is it gives you the full thing. So I want to sort all the spreadsheet. I'm going to select the whole thing, and it says, do you have headings? And I click yes, and then it knows not to sort the headings. But I sorted the headings in one of these because it just doesn't, it's not smart. AI and other things, picture placement. So that's what it's telling you to do. And then the final thing, and here's what their program is. Those are all the programs you get with Microsoft. I'm going to try to show that here with the Google Workspaces. And you can see it's not so apparent. I don't use it as much. I normally go all the way out to Workspaces and then come back in. And you're going to see me try to do that. There we go. That's what you can do in Google Workspaces. And now you're going to see in Libra, look at. Okay, now I'm doing the PDF. So I'd already loaded the PDF. The same problem was I had to load them into Workspace, or I had to load them into OneDrive, and then I could get the PDF, and then I had to open it from my storage. Here on LibreOffice, I could just load it from my computer. That's a winner for me also. Now, if you have PDFs, so I want you to consider this. If you have PDFs that are like for your computer and those kind of things, your refrigerator, your dryer, man, that's the best place to have them is on the web in Drive or OneDrive, because then they're always everywhere. So PDFs might be different. It's going to be a blended thing. Why punish yourself? Everything has to be on my computer. I can make a home server and that. If that's, again, we talked about tinkerers. So YouTube, what you got to see today was an Office thing. What's the thing? If I had to use anything and I still had to do work, I'd use the Microsoft one, and that's my work data, and it's okay. If I was just doing my personal stuff and I didn't want anyone to have access to it, I'd do LibreOffice, but I'd find a different solution. It's too clunky for me. And Google Workspace, if you grew up with Google Workspace, have at it. But there we go, getting work done with Linux. Hopefully you've switched to Catchy by now, and I hope you have this New Year's Eve, so everyone have a great night. I'll have another video soon. Ronin Kaze, out.